Welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I'm always talking about how Spain, Portugal, Argentina, the South America in general, Chile, all have the best values. And I thought, let's do a little challenge here. Let's have a challenge US, of course, Washington, California, versus the rest of the world. So we're going to take 3 different varietals, same price point, one from the US, one from another country, and see how they compare. The cool part is they're all under 17 bucks. That's a good value. I'd like to get started right away because we have 6 wines to try, and I don't want to put you guys to sleep, just saying. So this is most of them are the same vintage except this Chardonnay. This is a 2020 LaCroix Belle Chardonnay from the Languedoc in southern France. It's a Paydoc, which means a table wine, basically. This rolls in at $11. No, wait a minute. Excuse me. No, this one rolls in at $14. 14 bucks, excuse me. LaCroix Belle. Whoa, almost lost the glass. Good save, Stan. Woo! Give it a little rinse here. Generally speaking, Chardonnay, California dominates the Chardonnay market, just saying. Of course, we can go to Chablis, we can go to white Burgundy, of course, but those demand a lot of money. They are good. Don't get me wrong. I love Chablis. I love some of the white Burgundies. There are some value white Burgundies out there. But in general, California Chardonnay dominates the market. Here we have one from the Languedoc in southern France. Really golden in color. I mean, this is gold, gold, gold. I hope you can see that against this white backdrop. But yes, very gold in color. 2020, $14. So we get on those. So this is a challenge. We'll see how this compares to the California Chardonnay. Super challenge on the nose. I'm not getting very much on this one aromatically. Maybe just a little bit of like ripe pear. That is about it. So very challenged on the nose. First off, $14 Chard. Let's see what we get on the palate. Fairly mellow on the palate. Has some buttery notes, which a lot of Chardonnay lovers would like that. Has some good fresh acidity. It's not acidic, but it has a freshness to it. There's definitely a buttery tone to this one, with that kind of pear, melon, apple thing underneath. I'm getting just a hint of minerality, and really, as you oxygenate, swirl this wine in your mouth. Excuse me, couldn't spit that one out for some reason. As you get some oxygen through this wine, the butter notes kind of come out a little bit more. This is a very soft, easy to drink Chardonnay. This would please a lot of people. Kind of that buttered popcorn sort of thing going on with that pear, a little bit of apple. But it's fresh as well, so it's not goopy. It has a little minerality, as I mentioned already, but that kind of rounds it out. I think it's a C plus B minus Chard for sure, $14. Now here's a very well-known Chardonnay from California, 2023 Edna Valley Chard. It also rolls in at $14. Now let's see how these compare. We have 2 at 14 bucks. Do we go for the French Southern Languedoc Chardonnay, or do we go for the California Edna Valley Chardonnay? The age could be the reason for the color difference, although it's only a couple years. Did I say this in 23? Yeah, so 3 years. Actually, LaCroix Belle's doing pretty good for a 2020. This is a lot lighter, more of a straw gold color, if you can see that. So, yeah, and that's the age difference probably. Let's see how this one stands up to the LaCroix Belle. This has a little like lemon pledge on the nose with a little bit of apple. Maybe a touch of pineapple. Definitely more tropical on the nose. It's a more youthful wine. Yeah, so I'm going to go pineapple, lemon pledge, and maybe a little bit of apple. Let's see what we get on the palate. This definitely has buttery notes. The pineapple comes through almost like a reduction pineapple a little bit, but definitely buttery. Apple notes come through. Body-wise, it's almost identical to the LaCroix Belle. LaCroix Belle has an advantage maybe of a 3 years difference, although some Chardonnays don't hold up on that long. That is impressive that the LaCroix Belle is still tasting well, that good at 2020. This has a little more complexity. Definitely doesn't have that minerality that the first one did, but definitely more complex, a little richer on the palate. Could be the age, I don't know. I had trouble finding a 2023 or 22 Chardonnay from the old world, or from the old world in this case. This one has some spice notes on it as well. I would say the LaCroix Belle stands up to this one, but I prefer the Edna Valley over the LaCroix Belle, even though they're both really good. They're both good for the money. I think the Edna Valley, and I see why we sell so much of this. So I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to go B-B on that. So definitely the Edna Valley showed better than the Languedoc Chardonnay in this case. Now let's move on. Now we have a Cabernet and a Zinfandel. I'm going to go Cab first because the Cabs are $11. I hate to say this, but I'm not expecting a huge amount out of a Cabernet, and this is one of the things I really like. If you can find a wine that delivers beyond the price point, that's really what I'm looking for. So we'll give these a try. This is the 2022 Los Vascos Cabernet Sauvignon from Val de Colchagua, Chile. This rolls in at $11. Great price point for a Cab if it is any good. There you go. Let's hope it is. Los Vascos, what I like about Los Vascos, they're hooked up to the Lafite Rothschild family in France. They're very vintage driven, which I love. As I've said many times, they let the vintage talk, which is really cool. Now this has a little reddish purple on it going on. Kind of a brightish Cab for sure. Looks vibrant. Okay, let's see what we got on the nose. Little green bell pepper. Some currants and green bell pepper, a little bit of a brambleberry thing going on, like blackberry bushes and blackberries and all that with the currants. Yeah, it reminds me of a 1970s Napa Cab. Remember those? So these used to always be like really, well, in the 80s as well. A lot of herbaceousness on the nose, or veggie. This has that. Let's see what we get on the palate. Well, the veggie comes through on the palate, which is very pleasant, by the way, because it is not intrusive. It's just in there. It adds complexity to this wine. There's a little bit of a green bell pepper spice to this. The currant notes are consistently from beginning to end. I get even a little bit of a mocha kind of chocolate thing. Not really chocolate, but you know what I mean? Maybe in the bittersweet mocha chocolate thing. Not huge though. You know, they're not using a lot of oak on this, or if any. Maybe not any. I don't want to geek out on you too much, but when you get that kind of herbaceous, that brambleberry, sort of blackberry stem thing going on, green bell pepper, and it's nicely integrated like this one is, with the currant notes and the dark cherry notes and that kind of bittersweet chocolate thing going on. This has a lot of complexity for $11. And I think that I mean, some guys get too crazy about the veggie thing, like Loire Valley, Cab Franc, things like that. But this is nicely integrated, and it gives it a characteristic, I think, that could actually get people hooked a little bit on herbaceousness in their wine because it's nicely integrated. The tannins are softer, but they're structured. I like this wine. I'm gonna go straight up B- on that. That's a really good cab. That one over delivers for $11. Now let's move on to the 2022 Stone Cap Cabernet Sauvignon, a state-grown Columbia Valley. This also rolls in at $11. Same vintage, Goose Ridge Vineyards. So this is from the Goose Ridge Winery. It's their second label. It's been a while since I've had this one. Really impressed with that Las Vascos, just saying. Okay, color. Well, this is also fresh and vibrant, but you can see right through it. Unlike the Las Vascos, this one is fairly just kind of a reddish color that you can see right through. So not a lot of depth to the color. That doesn't always mean anything. Let's see what we get on those. This is straight up kind of almost like perfumed purple and red flowers with the currants. A little bit of tobacco on the nose on this one. Doesn't have the veggie. Yeah, let's see what we get on the palate. This does not have the complexity of the Las Vascos. It's good. Don't get me wrong. For $11, both of these are pretty good. It has some ripe currant notes. The tannins are a little, not quite as soft. They're still structured. There's just a tiny bit of grit on the finish on this one. And there's some chocolate notes that come through on the backside. Tobacco comes out on the finish. Nice intensity on the finish on this one. Really kind of grippy on the around my teeth and all that. Interesting. Goose Ridge is a big winery. They produce a lot of juice out there, and so they benefit. This Stone Cap Cab could be benefiting from some of the juice they don't put in their Goose Ridge line, and it's pretty good. I mean, seriously. It's a really good cab. They're both really good. I'm going to go straight up B- on that one too. I think they're equal. They're absolutely equal in price, and that's pretty amazing. These are both good $11 cabs. They over deliver. I'm really impressed with both of them for different reasons. So there's a tie there. Just saying. That's pretty cool. Now, I didn't know what to order to go with this one. We have a Primitivo from Italy and a Zinfandel from California. And Primitivo is Zinfandel. It's just what the Italians call it. That's probably what they brought over to the U.S. and planted them, and we called it Zinfandel. Whatever the reason, Primitivo and Zinfandel are the same grape. I don't know which one to go with first, but I'm going to go with the McManus first. These are $16. These are the highest priced ones. I had trouble. This is a kind of a difficult task because you can't really pick a Bordeaux blend from France or Bordeaux from France and then find a Bordeaux from the U.S. First of all, they have to put the composition on the label and you have to understand what's in it. I couldn't go there. I mean, I wasn't sure if I could do that, and matching the price points. It was a difficult task, but I did find two Zins. This is a McManus. McManus puts out a lot of wine. This is their Zinfandel for $16. 2023. McManus Zinfandel, Lodi, California. Lodi is a very respected appellation for Zinfandel. Again, rolls in at $16. I'm a huge Zin fan, as you know, so I'm interested to try these. We're getting kind of crowded, but this one is a little on the darker side, but you can see through it, for sure. A reddish, definitely on the reddish side. Okay. Let's see what we get on those. Well, this has like a burnt rubber. You know, somebody just squealed their tires and you just followed up right behind them. With a black raspberry. Some currant notes, that kind of burnt rubber, but not offensive. It's the essence of that, I guess, best way to put it. I like the black raspberry and currant dark cherry notes on this one. Let's see what we get on the palate. Well, this has everything you would expect in a Lodi Zen. Has that kind of jamminess. There's some spice notes. The currant notes come through, black raspberry underneath. Fresh on the palate with the little, you know, the tannins have a little bit of attitude to them, but not too bad. You know, sometimes when you get into the, you know, the less expensive Zins, I oftentimes get what I call clams on the nose. None of that on this one. This is a really pleasing Zinfandel. I think a lot of Zinfandel lovers would like it. For $16, a pretty good price for a Lodi Zin. The petrol note comes through on this one. That kind of rubber boot thing comes through on the mid palate into the finish. I think overall, pretty good Zin. I'm going to go B- on that one as well. Let's move on to the Masseria, Lavelli, Orion, Salento, Primitivo, Southern Italy. This rolls in again at $16. This is a 2023, same vintage. I don't have enough Primitivo on the shelf. I think this might be the only one I have right now. I found some good ones and then they disappear on me and I can't remember where I got them. And the salesmen don't always follow up, which, if you're selling wine, if you're a sales rep, remember to follow up with buyers like me who look at a ton of wine every week and we like one and sometimes we forget who we got it from. Especially when we're dealing with 7 or 8 guys. It's just, it happens. Especially with me. I don't know why. Not a great quality, but it does happen to me. Okay. About the same color on this one. Maybe a skosh darker. Yeah, definitely darker. Hedging toward the, you know, dark red into the black zone. Yes. You can still see through it a little bit, but not as much as the McManus. Let's see what we get on the nose. Ooh, this has that real jammy kind of mixed berry, raspberry currants on the nose. I'm even getting some spice notes. And some chocolate. Excited to try this. Let's see what we get on the palate. In terms of delivering over its price point, this one definitely is the best of the bunch. You'd have to like Zinfandel. This is really a really delicious wine. It has ripe currants, raspberry, chocolate notes, pretty intense without going too jammy. Sometimes Zinfandel can be so jammy people don't like it. Just interested in the ABV on this one. The alcohol content is 14%, not huge. You can get a lot of Zinfandels from California that roll in the 15 plus category. This is also 14. But this is a Zinfandel lover Zin. This is a Zin that I could go to a lot because it has those qualities. It's only $16. Some of the Zins that I really like, that I'm most fond of, I mean, we sell a ton of Bogle Old Vine Zin. That's probably our number one selling Zinfandel. It is $14. It's well known. A lot of people like it. I tend to go towards a couple like Klein and Clinker Brick. Those are really good Zinfandels, and they are closer to $18 to $19. But this one for 16 bucks, guys, is really packing a punch for a Zinfandel. The chocolate notes come through on the mid palate. The finish is fresh, which I like. You can tell it caught me on my throat. My voice changed. This is what I like about Zinfandel, and it has just a touch of minerality on the very back end. That's a winner. Hands down the best one of the bunch that I've tasted. I'm going to go A- on that one. I do it for the money. Probably one of the better Zinfandels I've tasted for $16. Well, look at that. So California beat out France in the Chardonnay section at $14. We had a tie with the Cab, which is really cool because those are both $11. They both were pretty good for different reasons. And then in the Zinfandel category, Italians crushed it. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I really appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. You can see what's coming up. I got some Thanksgiving episodes coming up, obviously. It's not that I have to do them, but I think it's important to at least give people some ideas about what to buy for Thanksgiving. My last episode on Portuguese wine, and I thought all those would be Thanksgiving, this Primitivo would definitely be a choice for Thanksgiving. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.